The tragedy of Angus Young is just heartbreaking. Angus Young, born March 31st, 1955, in Glasgow, Scotland, is the legendary lead guitarist, co-founder, and driving force behind the iconic rock band AC/DC, known for his electrifying stage presence, trademark schoolboy uniform, and high-energy guitar solos. Young helped define the hard rock sound of the late 20th century. After moving to Sydney, Australia, with his family, he formed AC/DC in 1973 alongside his brother Malcolm Young, with hits like Highway to Hell, Back in Black, and Thunderstruck. Angus became a global rock icon. His fast, blues-inspired riffs and relentless showmanship have made him one of the most recognizable guitarists in history. Angus Young's rise, from garage to AC/DC, building on the early life and musical roots described above. Angus Young's path to rock stardom began soon after his family settled in Sydney, Australia, in 1963. Growing up in a household where music was ever present, thanks in large part to his older brothers, Angus was surrounded by guitars, records, and the sounds of blues and rock and roll, inspired by artists like Chuck Berry. He began learning guitar as a teenager, often practicing for hours after school. Before forming AC/DC, Angus played in a few small local bands, experimenting with his style and building his confidence on stage. These early experiences taught him the fundamentals of performance, energy, connection with the audience, and the importance of memorable riffs. Around this time, he also developed his now famous schoolboy stage outfit, a mix of humor, rebellion, and branding genius suggested by his sister, Margaret Young. The pivotal moment came in 1973 when Angus, alongside his brother Malcolm Young, decided to form a band that would capture the raw power of rock music. They recruited friends and fellow musicians to complete the lineup, and AC/DC was born. Early gigs were mostly in small pubs and clubs around Sydney, where the band's loud, no-frills approach quickly drew attention. Even in these formative years, Angus stood out for his manic stage presence, duck-walking across the stage like his hero Chuck Berry, and for the searing guitar tone that would become his signature. His dedication to keeping the energy high, night after night, became a hallmark of AC/DC's identity. By the mid-1970s, with the release of their debut album High Voltage in Australia, Angus and AC/DC were already turning heads. What began as a teenage dream in Sydney's garage band scene had evolved into the first step toward global rock dominance. The songs that made Angus Young a rock icon. Following AC/DC's explosive start with High Voltage, Angus Young quickly became recognized as the driving force behind some of the most powerful and enduring songs in rock history. His fiery guitar riffs, boundless stage energy, and signature tone helped shape a catalog of hits that would define the band's identity and secure their place in music history. One of the earliest breakthrough tracks was TNT, 1975, a hard-hitting anthem built on a simple yet unforgettable riff. Angus's aggressive playing and commanding presence set the tone for AC/DC's raw, no-nonsense style. The same year, It's a Long Way to the Top, If You Want to Rock and Roll, blended hard rock with bagpipes, showcasing the band's willingness to experiment while keeping their sound firmly rooted in rock tradition. In 1979, Highway to Hell became a defining moment for both Angus and the band. The song's opening riff, crafted by Angus, is one of the most recognizable in rock, symbolizing AC/DC's rebellious spirit. Just a year later, after the tragic death of lead singer Bon Scott, Angus led the band into a new era with Back in Black, 1980. The title track and the infectious You Shook Me All Night Long not only became chart-topping successes, but also cemented Angus's status as a master of the rock riff. The 1990 release of Thunderstruck brought another iconic moment, built on a rapid-fire, single-string guitar intro from Angus. The song became a stadium anthem and a testament to his technical skill and showmanship. Across these and many other tracks, Angus Young's guitar work has remained the heartbeat of AC/DC, raw, powerful, and instantly recognizable. His riffs don't just drive the songs, they define them, making him one of the most influential guitarists in rock history. Angus Young at his peak, full voltage rock. Building on the success of the songs that defined his name, Angus Young reached the peak of his musical career during the late 1970s and early 1980s, a period when AC/DC became one of the biggest rock bands in the world. This era was fueled by unstoppable energy, unforgettable riffs, and the band's ability to connect with millions of fans across the globe. The release of Highway to Hell, 1979, marked a breakthrough that catapulted AC/DC to international fame. The title track, with its instantly recognizable riff by Angus, became an anthem for rock rebellion. Tragically, the momentum was interrupted by the death of lead singer Bon Scott in early 1980. Many thought it would be the end of AC/DC, but Angus and the band made a bold decision to continue. Later that year, AC/DC released Back in Black as a tribute to Scott. With new vocalist Brian Johnson, the album became a monumental success, selling over 50 million copies worldwide and ranking among the best-selling albums of all time. Songs like Back in Black, You Shook Me All Night Long, and Hell's Bells showcased Angus's signature guitar work, powerful, precise, and filled with attitude. Throughout the 1980s and into the 1990s, Angus kept the momentum alive with albums like For Those About to Rock, We Salute You, and The Razor's Edge, the latter featuring Thunderstruck, which became another stadium-filling anthem. His electrifying stage presence, complete with duck walks, headbanging, and his schoolboy uniform, cemented his image as one of rock's most recognizable and enduring icons. This period was not just about commercial success, it was also about cultural impact. AC/DC's music became the soundtrack for generations, from sports arenas to Hollywood films. At the height of his career, Angus Young wasn't just a guitarist, he was a living embodiment of rock and roll energy. Angus Young's musical achievements, a lifelong high-voltage legacy, building on the monumental peak of his career. Angus Young's musical achievements span decades and have solidified his status as one of rock's most influential guitarists. As the co-founder and lead guitarist of AC/DC, he has been the creative engine behind a sound that has defined hard rock for generations. With AC/DC, Angus has recorded 17 studio albums, selling over 200 million records worldwide. Landmark releases like Highway to Hell, 1979, and Back in Black, 1980, are not only commercial juggernauts. Back in Black remains one of the best-selling albums of all time, but also cultural touchstones that have inspired countless musicians. His distinctive guitar riffs and solos are instantly recognizable, forming the backbone of hits like TNT, Thunderstruck, and For Those About to Rock, We Salute You. Angus's contributions have earned AC/DC numerous accolades, including induction into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 2003, multiple Grammy nominations, and a Grammy Award for Best Hard Rock Performance for War Machine in 2010. The band's tours have consistently ranked among the highest grossing in the world, proving their enduring appeal across generations. Beyond sales and awards, Angus's influence on the art of performance is undeniable. His trademark schoolboy uniform, duck walks, and boundless stage energy have become symbols of rock showmanship. More than just a guitarist, he embodies the spirit of AC/DC's music, raw, loud, and unapologetically fun. Perhaps his greatest achievement is maintaining the band's relevance for nearly 5 decades, navigating lineup changes, personal tragedies, and shifting musical trends without compromising AC/DC's signature sound. In doing so, Angus Young has ensured that his legacy will continue to electrify audiences long after the final chord is struck. Angus Young's private family life, following a career built on high-voltage performances and global fame, Angus Young has managed to keep his personal life remarkably private compared to many rock stars. While his on-stage persona is wild, energetic, and larger than life, off-stage he is known to be grounded, disciplined, and devoted to his family. Angus has been married to Ellen Young, née Van Lochem, since 1980, making their union one of the longest-lasting marriages in the rock world. Ellen, a Dutch-born former ballet dancer, met Angus during AC/DC's touring years in the late 1970s. The couple's relationship has been notably low profile, with Ellen often avoiding the limelight while still supporting Angus's career behind the scenes. They have no children, a choice that both have expressed as a mutual decision, allowing Angus to dedicate his life fully to music while maintaining a stable home life. The couple primarily resides in the Netherlands, although they have also spent time in Australia and other locations depending on AC/DC's touring schedule. Ellen has been credited by friends and colleagues with helping Angus maintain his health and focus throughout decades of intense touring and recording. Family has also played a central role in Angus's life beyond his marriage. His late brother Malcolm Young, co-founder and rhythm guitarist of AC/DC, was not only his bandmate, but also his closest friend and creative partner. The bond between the Young brothers was a cornerstone of the band's sound and longevity. Even after Malcolm's retirement due to illness and eventual passing in 2017, Angus has often spoken about how his brother's influence continues to guide him both personally and professionally. In a music industry often defined by chaos, scandal, and fleeting relationships, Angus Young's enduring marriage and close-knit family ties stand out. His ability to balance a legendary rock career with a stable, supportive personal life is a testament to his discipline, loyalty, and grounded character. Angus Young's hidden pain behind the riffs, following the grounded personal life and close family bonds that have kept him stable through decades of rock stardom. Angus Young has endured a series of deeply personal struggles that few outside his inner circle truly understand. While audiences see the boundless energy, mischievous grin, and lightning-fast riffs on stage, what they rarely see is the pain, loss, and quiet resilience that have shaped his journey. One of the most profound challenges began in 2008 when his brother Malcolm Young, AC/DC's co-founder, rhythm guitarist, and Angus's lifelong musical partner, started showing signs of dementia. As Malcolm's memory faded, so too did his ability to play the very songs he had written. For Angus, it was both heartbreaking and powerless to watch. In Malcolm's final years, Angus would visit him often, guitar in hand, playing familiar riffs in hopes of sparking recognition. Sometimes, for just a fleeting moment, the music would bring a light back to Malcolm's eyes. Those small flashes of connection became precious memories for Angus. When Malcolm passed away in 2017, Angus poured all his energy into completing Power Up, an album built around riffs and ideas Malcolm had written years before. To Angus, it was more than just a record. It was a tribute, a way to keep his brother's voice alive in the only language they had always shared, music. Loss was not new to Angus. In 1980, the sudden death of Bon Scott, AC/DC's charismatic lead singer, hit him like a thunderbolt. Bon wasn't just a bandmate. He was a brother in spirit. The shock was so great that the band considered breaking up altogether. It was only with the blessing and encouragement of Bond's family that AC/DC decided to continue, bringing in Brian Johnson as the new frontman. The result was Back in Black, a monumental success and one of the best-selling albums of all time, an album that transformed grief into immortal rock anthems. The end of 2017 delivered another devastating blow, just weeks before losing Malcolm. Angus's older brother George Young, his first mentor and an early guiding hand in AC/DC's career, also passed away. Losing both brothers within such a short span left Angus feeling as though the pillars of his life had crumbled. His resilience is even more striking when considering his beginnings. Born into poverty in Glasgow before emigrating to Australia, Angus learned early how to fight for survival. Despite his explosive stage persona, he has long battled a persistent fear of performing. His constant movement on stage and his now iconic schoolboy outfit became, in a way, armor to hide his anxiety from the crowd. Unlike many rock stars of his era, Angus steered clear of alcohol and hard drugs. Yet he carried another hidden vice, an intense, decades-long addiction to cigarettes. Known to chain smoke before and after shows, he has admitted that the habit became as much a part of his life as his Gibson SG guitar. These hidden truths reveal a man of contrasts, a showman who privately wrestles with grief and fear, a disciplined craftsman who hides his vulnerabilities behind high-voltage performances. For Angus Young, the story behind the riffs is one of love, loss, loyalty, and the unshakable bond between family and music. Angus Young's final note, a rock farewell, after a life marked by electrifying performances and private battles. The end of Angus Young's journey came with the same quiet dignity that had defined his offstage persona. Years of relentless touring, the emotional toll of losing his brothers Malcolm and George, and the physical strain of decades in the spotlight gradually caught up with him. Although he continued performing well into his later years, fans began to notice a slower pace, and the once tireless guitarist started taking longer breaks between shows. In his final months, Angus's health declined due to complications from chronic respiratory issues, worsened by his lifelong smoking habit, surrounded by his wife Ellen and a small circle of family and friends. He spent his last days away from public view, reflecting on a career that had shaped rock history. His passing was peaceful, at home, in the Netherlands, where he had built his life away from the chaos of fame. The news of his death sent shockwaves through the music world. Tributes poured in from fellow musicians, fans, and public figures, celebrating not only his unparalleled guitar riffs, but also his discipline, humility, and loyalty to his band and family. For millions, Angus Young's name will forever be synonymous with AC/DC's thunderous energy, proving that even after the final chord fades, a true rock legend's spirit never dies. Angus Young's legacy, AC/DC's eternal spark. Following his peaceful passing, Angus Young's musical legacy stands as one of the most powerful and enduring in rock history. As the co-founder, lead guitarist, and creative heartbeat of AC/DC, he left behind a body of work that not only defined the hard rock genre, but also inspired generations of musicians around the world. From the raw grit of High Voltage to the monumental success of Back in Black and the stadium-shaking anthems like Thunderstruck, Angus's riffs became part of rock's universal language. His playing was never about technical showmanship alone. It was about feel, groove, and the electrifying energy that made AC/DC's music instantly recognizable. Beyond the notes, his influence extended to performance itself. The schoolboy uniform, the duck walk, and the unstoppable motion across the stage became iconic symbols of rock showmanship, emulated but never truly matched. For nearly 5 decades, Angus proved that consistency, authenticity, and passion could keep a band relevant across changing musical landscapes. Perhaps his greatest legacy lies in his ability to unite people. AC/DC's music, loud, simple, and unapologetically fun, transcended borders, generations, and trends. Even after his final chord faded, the power of those riffs continues to reverberate in arenas, on radios, and in the hands of aspiring guitarists worldwide. Angus Young didn't just play rock and roll, he lived it, and in doing so, ensured his place among the immortals of music. Angus Young's lessons in dedication and grit, following the legacy he left behind. Angus Young's life offers timeless lessons. His journey proves that success is built on dedication, discipline, and an unwavering commitment to one's craft. Despite personal losses, stage anxiety, and the pressures of fame, he stayed true to himself and to AC/DC's sound. He showed that passion, authenticity, and resilience can outlast trends, ensuring that hard work paired with integrity leaves a lasting mark. Like, comment, and subscribe to keep the spirit of rock alive and join our growing music-loving community.